Hi, my name is Matt Philippi, and this is a video demonstration on how to connect Tableau to AWS EMR using the connector in Tableau Desktop Professional. You can find me on LinkedIn, Matt Philippi, CPA and Business Intelligence, also on YouTube. If you search my name, I have a channel here, and then Tableau Public as well. And we'll be talking about this guy right here, AWS EMR, right here, using that connector. And this is part of a group of demos on how to use the various connectors in Tableau. So before we start the demo, just wanted to clarify here that this will be done using the Hive Server on the connector. You actually have two options here. One is the Hive Server, and then the other is Impala. And without getting into details, Impala is a query engine, and then Hive is a similar construct, but it's a data warehouse for distributed storage, primarily Hadoop and Spark. Quite a few steps here. 8. Download the ODBC driver for Amazon Hive. We'll also need to create a key pair in AWS before we launch our EMR cluster here. In AWS EC2, you can actually create a key pair on the fly, but when you're launching EMR clusters, you have to use an existing key pair. So that's why we'll do that. Then we'll launch the EMR cluster via the AWS Management Console. Then we're going to SSH into the master node, and then we'll get into Hive. And then once we're in there, we'll be able to create a table. We'll be able to insert some values, and then we will connect to Hive. And then we will create a dashboard in Tableau. Warning, this is a demo and we'll be using AWS. So there will be some costs associated with this, but this is not a demo where I always use security and cost best practices. This is just a demo. So it's your job, if you're going to use these services, to understand cost and security. Okay, later in the video you'll see 8 steps, and I only do 8 steps, but I did add a 9th step, and this is really important. There are instructions at the end of this video on how to delete your resources, delete the cluster in AWS, and if you don't do it, you'll continue to pay. So again, my warning about cost is your responsibility to understand, but there are instructions to show you how to delete the cluster at the end of this video, so very important that you do that. Step 1, download the ODBC driver for Amazon Hive and install it. This is important because if you don't do this, the ODBC driver is not installed. You're just going to get an error message every time you go try to use the connector, no matter if you have all the right credentials and everything in here. So you can go to Google, AWS EMR ODBC, use business intelligence tools with Amazon EMR. We want the Hive ODBC, not the JDBC, but we want the Hive ODBC. So I'm going to click that. It's going to download pretty quick there. While we're doing that, I'm in Windows here, so I downloaded for Windows. I'm going to type in ODBC here, and you can see, you can't see it in here right now. I only have Redshift in there. Okay, the download's done. So I'm going to go to my downloads. I'm going to extract this. This is what I just downloaded. And then once that opened, I will install the ODBC driver for Windows. I'm on Windows 10, so I'll go with the 64. I will install that. Install. Accept, yes, next, install, okay, finished. Now since I'm in Windows, I can go back to ODBC, and I don't see it in there. There we go. Amazon Hive DSN is now in there. Step 2, create the key pair. So I am logged into AWS here. I use multi-factor authentication. I hope you do too. And I am going to do everything in Northern Virginia today. So first step, or the second step here, is we're going to create a key pair because we'll need this later to SSH into the master node for the cluster that we create. And unlike just launching plain old EC2, when you launch an EMR cluster, you can't create a key pair on the fly. So we have to go over here, go to the dashboard, go to EC2, go to key pairs, create a key pair. I'll call this Tableau connect, create. Okay, so you can just see it downloaded here. And then I'm using Windows, so I'm going to go to PuTTY and load that. Load that. Okay. And then I'm going to save this. I'll just call this Tableau Connect as well. That'll be the private. Again, like I said, this is not security best practices here necessarily, so just be aware of that. I'll be deleting everything when I'm done here. So I now have a public and the private key, and I'll be able to use my private key to log into or SSH into the master node. Step 3, we're ready to launch an EMR cluster. So I am logged into AWS here. Go to the dashboard. Okay, so EMR is actually, it's not compute, it's down here in analytics. So select EMR. And again, I am in Northern Virginia here. So I'm going to actually just show the active clusters. I don't have any active clusters. I'm going to create a cluster. What do I call this one? Tableau Connect. Okay, I'm just going to use this configuration right here with Hive, just core Hadoop. And then I don't need that much horsepower, so I'll just use a large. And then I'm going to choose the key pair that we just selected. And then it's time to launch the cluster. So Tableau Connect, core Hadoop, M4 large, Tableau Connect EC2 key pair, create cluster, stop, watch. We just test it, see how long it takes, and then I'll pause while we wait. Okay, it still says starting. I think the next step is where it says waiting, but it doesn't say enable web connections here anymore. It says Hue, Ganglia, Resource Manager. So I think it's just about done. We'll say it's between 5 and 7 minutes, and the cluster should be ready to go. Okay, step 4, we're going to SSH into the master node. And before we do that, well, the first step here is I'm back in EMR here, so I'm just going to go to the dashboard so you can see how to get there. Remember, EMR is down in analytics. Remember, I'm in Northern Virginia. I'm just going to show my active clusters, Tableau Connect, and then I can view cluster details here. And the thing that I want to check here is I want to go to security groups from master, and I want to change the firewall so it opens it up so we can get to it. So by clicking on that, let me do that one more time. So I'm in my cluster here, cluster details. So yeah, see, now it says waiting. That means it's officially ready. Security groups for masters, click on that. And then I want to highlight the master here and then inbound. So this is set for all traffic, all protocol, all ports. Okay, obviously not a security best practice, but I don't think that's because I've always set this up in here. So it may not, if you're new to this is the first time, you'd want to go in here to edit, add a rule, all traffic, all, and then you can do anywhere. I would just do anywhere and then make sure that you save it. If you don't do this, you won't be able to get access. You'll probably run into problems. So again, this is a demo, so we're just trying to get connected not do perfect security here, so cancel. So in my case, I like this all traffic, all, and now I'm ready to log in. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard here and go back to EMR. Actually, I already have it open over here, but yeah, just show me the open clusters. Okay, so the master node, this is the DNS here. So that's what's important, and I'm going to use putty. Okay, so I'm going to copy this in here. Okay, and because this is a, we have to put the username in there because this is a AWS Linux, Amazon Linux EC2. I'm going to put EC2-user at there. I'm going to call this my Tableau Connect. I'm going to save it. So remember, you have to put EC2-user at the DNS right here. Okay. And then because it's SSH, we're in port 22. And I'm going to go down here to SSH, auth, browse. There's that private key that I created. Okay. You don't have to necessarily do this part right here. So I'm going to go back up to session. I'm going to actually save this. I'm going to click open. I'm going to say yes. And then there I am connected. Step 5, we're going to create a table in Hive. So I have putty open here. Remember, I just logged in. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the old security worst practice again here. Sudo su, get in as root. Then I'm going to go to Hive. And then while it's loading, okay, now we're in Hive. And I want to create a table. So actually, let me make this a little bigger here. Okay, so I actually have a script here that I created. Bring it over here so you can see it. So create external table, Tableau test, 4 columns in here. And when you're on the command line for Hive in particular, the semicolon really matters. So I'm going to copy this here, copy it exactly, copy, Control C, copy, whatever. Okay, and then I'm going to come in here. Okay, so that looks good. So create external table, Tableau test, column name, color string, shape, data type string, city, data type string, state, data type string, close parentheses, followed by the all important semicolon, and then I'll hit enter. Okay, so then I can do describe Tableau test. Oh, I forgot the semicolon again. There. So there's my table with the columns. Step 6, we're going to insert some values into the table that we just created in Hive. So going back to this text file that I have here. Okay, so here's the first statement that I'm going to put in there. The exact same. It's just insert into the table, Tableau test, values. So we have red, triangle, Seattle, Washington. So I'm going to copy that. Go back here. Okay, insert into the table, Tableau test values. Got the semicolon in there. Okay. Oops, test session was closed. It's going to reopen. Just got to be a little patient there. Okay, so that works. So I'm going to say select star from Tableau test semicolon. Okay, there's my red triangle. Seattle, Washington. And then I'm just going to take this second one here. So if you want to pause it, you can look at it and copy it, but it's just inserting more data into the tables. So go back here. Same exact stuff. Enter. Do another select star. And then there's all the data. Step 7, time to connect Tableau to Hive on our EMR cluster. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to here. I'm on my cluster dashboard here. Remember, Amazon EMR cluster list. I'm in Northern Virginia. And then here's that cluster that I launched. So if I hit the down arrow, it's going to show my DNS here. Same one that we used when we SSH'd into the master node. So I'm actually going to copy that. I'm going to go out here to ODBC, and again, I'm on Windows. Okay, so you can see Hive DNS, configure. I'm going to copy that, the same DNS, port 10,000. So it's username. Username is Hive. Then I'm going to hit test. Test completed successfully. I'm going to hit OK. And then I'll hit OK here. And then the next step's important. So make sure you're logged all the way out of Tableau, because if you're already logged into Tableau, all those ODBC changes may not take effect. So I am logged all the way out of Tableau here. So I'm going to log into Tableau. Then I'm going to find my Amazon EMR cluster. Okay, I'm going to make sure that the same DNS here is up here. Okay, port 10,000, Hive Server 2, username, SASL, Hive, and require SSL. That's got to be checked. Sign in. Okay, and if that didn't work, go back and follow the steps that I did exactly. Okay, time to create a dashboard here, the fun part. So you can see the connection here that we just made. Select schema. So it's going to be a default schema, but you can just hit the magnifying glass there. And I'll go out and look for the schema. Default, I'll select that. Okay. And then remember we created our Tableau test table in here. There it is right there. So I'm just going to drag it up there. Okay, might as well just update now. Okay, there's the data that we inserted. So if I go to the worksheet, I can drag city and state out here. Again, this demo is just about getting connected, nothing to do with query optimization or data structure optimization in Hive or anything related to that. So there we go, we got Washington. Okay. I just clicked the plus so I can get this, see in there, you can see it's not super optimized here. Okay, why don't I take color and drop that into the color, and then I can take once that's done, hey, why don't we change this to shapes. I'll do a shape in here. Okay. Okay, then I'm going to click on colors, change the color. Green is green, red is red, yellow is yellow. Apply. Hey, shapes. Why don't we do filled in shapes? Okay, the circle needs to look like a circle, the square needs to look like a square, and the triangle needs to look like a triangle. Okay, maybe I can make it a little better. Maybe maybe put the city name as a label. So there we go. Seattle, red triangle, Atlanta, Boston. Boston's a yellow square, Atlanta's a green circle. So there's our dashboard. Okay, I actually added a ninth step here. I forgot to add this at the beginning, but delete resources in AWS. Super important. This is EMR. There's no free tier here. So if you leave this cluster going, you will pay. And the charges can rack up quickly. So going to back to my EMR cluster list. Remember, I'm in Northern Virginia. So click on that box. Terminate the cluster. Terminating user request is what I want. So I will stop paying for the resources associated with this. Okay, that concludes the demo on how to connect Tableau Desktop Professional to Hive on Amazon EMR Cluster. Remember, this is part of a series of videos on Tableau connectors. So there's a few more out here, and I'll continue to add. And thank you for watching. You can find me on LinkedIn, CPA Business Intelligence, YouTube. You can subscribe to my channel. You can also subscribe in the lower right-hand corner, and Tableau Public. And if you send me a LinkedIn, just send me a little information on who you are, and I'll get back to you, a little something about myself. And hey, if you're in the Seattle area, I might even say, hey, let's connect and actually do a real connection. Thanks for watching.